Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 165. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for Weekly Recap Newsletter 213. So just a quick summary of things that happened this past week in Star Atlas. There was a Community Atlas Brew on Wednesday. There was a Lore Keepers on Thursday. And then we did see the start of some community content that was sponsored by the Star Atlas DAO start coming out. So I'll kind of go over some of those, plus my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas this past week and how I'm playing Star Atlas. But before I get to that, just want to mention a couple things I'm working on in Star Atlas. Of course, my website, intergalacticherald.com. Great Star Atlas resource website with guides, directories, recaps, a Star Atlas Discord announcement newsfeed. So again, you can find all that out at intergalacticherald.com. Do also have a Star Atlas merch store at intergalacticgear.com. Admit it's kind of outdated, but if you want a mug, I can hook you up with it as long as you're in the United States. Anyways. And then lastly, I'd love to get together with other Star Atlas gamers who have decided not to join guilds. You can check out more information about that at intergalacticcoalition.com. So this past week in Star Atlas, as I kind of mentioned, one thing that has started to roll out is a new, it's a community initiative, but it's sponsored by Star Atlas DAO. It was I can't remember which one of the PIPs, I can't remember what PIP stands for. Something proposal. I don't know. Anyways, content creators are getting paid. So far I've seen a little bit one thing on Twitter, I think. Actually, we haven't gotten any kind of rollout of the different people that were selected. There was a voting system. But anyways, one video did make the rounds and I was able to see it, was by a community member named Winston. So he created a YouTube video that kind of went back through the Star Atlas roadmap, did a whole bunch of kind of video compilations of previous Star Atlas footage, and then kind of went through each one of the potential seasons of the, I'm pretty sure it was just UE5 stuff. So anyways, I do have a link for that in my newsletter, so you can check that out there. And it's kind of cool to see some Star Atlas content creators coming back. So the next thing, there was a Star Atlas Lore Keepers. I'm sorry, I'm just not as much into the lore. So, but again, if you're on this podcast feed, you've already received the AI summary that I did. The entire lore event was recorded at StarAtlasTV.com on YouTube, so you can get the full thing there. Day before that, there was a Star Atlas Brew, and I did listen to that. So kind of go over some of the things that came out of that. It was definitely heavy on Holosym again, which makes perfect sense as that's the main playable product out now. But they did kind of tease a little bit about some C4. They showed a video of kind of the interface. Don't think we've seen that one before. I don't think it's also had been posted anywhere else. So again, if you want to check out that actual video within the video, check out Star Atlas TV. Oh, actually, now I realized Star Atlas TV is one of the, what are they called? DAO casters? I can't remember what. Yeah, I think that's what they were called. Anyways, I think he's one because on his video he was giving a giveaway, Atlas giveaway. So anyways, cool. Yeah. So yeah, C4. So showed some video. Seemed very, not similar, but same vein as the other one. So they also alluded maybe they'll try to get a couple other people on for the next brew. So again, only because that's much more of my interest right now. They did mention the upcoming RPG game, which I think was kind of rolled out at the Lore Keeper. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And then, like I said, the bulk of the Atlas Brew was talking about Holosym. They mentioned this new event coming up related to the Super Phoenix Titan. And again, this isn't the real Titan, Super Phoenix DAO that owns that. This is just within the Holosym. So, of course, they can use their IP however they want. So there'll be an upcoming event related to that. It sounds like kind of the classic boss fight type of thing. There was a small little thing that I caught as they were talking that not as many players as they had hoped. And I was like, I wasn't sure in the context. I thought they were actually getting more people into Holosym. So again, they wasn't really like an announcement of player counts or something. And then they mentioned some things about upcoming drones that are showing up in Holosym, and they showed some images of those, but I didn't think we see things in Holosym, so I'm not really sure. And then there was talk about remaining items that are coming up in Chapter 2, and then they were already starting to talk a little bit about Chapter 3. So yeah, I'll kind of just segue directly into my thoughts on Star Atlas. So again, I have to give credit where credit's due. Holosim is definitely progressing. There was some talk about some bugs and working with community team members to do that. So again, it feels like, again, great community feedback, building things, producing new content like the Super Phoenix event, and again, moving forward with different things with, I think, if I remember correctly, like Chapter 3 might have more scanning mechanisms and things like that. So yeah, so again, it sounds great. Again, like I said, I just don't have time to play it. So, but I'm glad again it exists, and that finally Star Atlas has a product that's stable, and definitely people can jump in with easy on-ramping without crypto and learning all the mechanisms. If I remember correctly, Holosim has a tutorial, so that's also good that exists. Anyways, so that was pretty much it again for the content that came out this past week. So again, Holosim's progressing well. Definitely cool to see some Star Atlas content being produced. Awesome that it's actually sponsored content. So again, those creators are receiving, I think, some sort of payment directly from the DAO for that. And then, as I kind of alluded to, again, just personally, just much more interested in C4 and what's coming there. And again, hopefully we'll start hearing more about that. Again, they do but they do mention small things each Atlas brew. So it's, again, not worked on, but again, we just really haven't heard that much more. So then I kind of wrap up my segment on my journey point Star Atlas. Again, kind of still stuck in my rut of just mining iron ore, definitely getting some of it, but again, not mining it fast enough that my transport fleet can immediately bring it back because it's much closer to the CSS. So yeah, that's just gone on fine. I think even on my zinc profile, I finally got back up to level 8, so that was cool. But yeah, I'm not keeping my rankings. I'm dropping a couple places because, again, just got one action going on. But again, I totally understand. So anyways, so that was it. Again, not a gigantic week in Star Atlas, but definitely much more of the kind of typical one now with the reduced staff and focus on just a couple products in the case of Holosim and C4/Zinc. So yeah, that's it. So anyways, thanks for listening again. Totally open if anybody wants to be a podcast guest. I know I say that every time and I haven't had any guests, but hey, it might happen someday. And then again, please do check out my website, intergalacticherald.com. Again, great Star Atlas resource website for guides, directories, recaps, and my Discord newsfeed. Again, if you want a Star Atlas mug, check out Intergalactic Gear. And so that's pretty much it for this past week in Star Atlas. Again, I'm Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Have a great week ahead.